Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, because I've been locked up on house arrest trying to recover from my recent surgery, I can't do any lifting, can't do any driving, so I'm at home. I've been finding things to do. And one of the things that I found, I mentioned in another video, Buttercup, a lady that she's an anonymous box sender, and she wants to be called Buttercup. So, Buttercup, I have this book that you sent me called The Case for Christ. Now, just to give you some background information on me, and that is that when I first met my wife, she's a born-again Christian. I'm a believer, but not in organized religion. Came from the Catholic religion, Catholic faith, and somehow the organized thing and the big churches and the poor people, it kind of just rubbed off on me the wrong way. So, excuse me. So, in fact, what I did, I stayed outside of that. But as I say, I'm a believer in the Creator, and I'm a believer in many aspects of religion which actually gel with the way that my wife thinks. Now, why am I even sharing this with you? Well, this has been my life for the last couple of days. I've been reading this book, haven't been able to stop reading it. Now, I did, as I was about to say, when I met my wife, I decided that I should really finally learn something about the Bible, because I'd never read it, and I felt that I should actually know what I'm talking about. So I went to the Bible Study Center, which was in Cebu, and I became friends with my instructor. She taught me one-on-one at the center, and she was the daughter of the missionary that ran that center. That was Sarah. Sarah, thank you so much for all the time that you spent teaching this ignoramus about the Bible. And she led me through that and gave me my assignments, and I think she'll agree that I was very good, and I kept to my assignments and did them. So I learned a lot about Christ. I always thought of him as this incredible teacher, and so, funnily enough, synchronicity is one of my favorite words, because nothing, that was Carl Jung said that nothing is by accident. And of course, here I am thinking, what the heck can I do? I really want to learn something new, to have some change, but the books that I had were not about the spiritual path, and then, hey, guess what happens? Guess what turns up? There's a book that's called The Case for Christ. And now this has been quite a shock for me, because I never realized that so much documentary evidence has been found about the Gospels. And let me just, if I may, put my glasses back on and just read from the contents. Lee Strobel. Lee Strobel was the editor. He was the editor of a newspaper, and he was also a courtroom investigator, reporter, and he had to know how to judge whether something was right or not. So he went into all different kinds of things. Eyewitness evidence, testing the evidence, the documentary evidence, and this is all from the book. So what do? He looked at this, he looked at his investigation as to whether the Gospels are authentic, whether they can be believed, whether they are true, and if so, if you are to suppose that, why would you suppose that? So, the first, Chapter 1, the eyewitness evidence, and in order to do that, can the biographies of Jesus be trusted? He went to see Dr. Craig Blomberg. Now, in doing that, Craig Blomberg is one heck of a scholar, as all of the people are that are in this book. He also interviewed Craig Blomberg, he interviewed Dr. Bruce Metzger, he interviewed Edwin Yamachi, I think that's how you spell that, Gregory Boyd. These are all scholars of the most incredible credentials, and they've really gone into it. They've all got 20, 30 and more years of investigation into whether the Gospels are actually true, whether are they credible, what do they mean, and where do they leave our belief about the authenticity of Christ. I mean, here at the identity evidence, was Jesus really convinced that he was the Son of God? They don't leave. Lee doesn't leave any stone unturned when he's talking about this. He talks about, was Jesus crazy? Was he crazy? And he goes for the psychological evidence with Dr. Gary Collins. Dr. Gary Collins, who is that's his field. So he went to find out about the authenticity of the truth of whether all of this can be corroborated. I never thought that it could. I thought you either believed or you didn't. Well, apparently that's not actually true, because there have been scraps of these Gospels that have been found over last years, which can be cross-corroborated with other pieces that have been found. Apparently there have been thousands and thousands of pieces of evidence that have been found on the Gospels, copies made from all corners of the world, which made it very easy. Well, so it's been a fascinating book for me. I'm only halfway through, and I can't put the book down. So I just thought I'd do a little video on that, which is about what my ordinary life has been just lately. And we always say that we're reporting, telling you about our ordinary life. So it's one of those things. This is what I've been doing, and it has had an enormous effect on me, on my believing. I really recommend this book. I don't know Mr. Lee Strobel, and I don't know why I'm dropping his name. He never drops mine. But this is a story. It's a journalist's personal investigation of the evidence for Jesus. And if you're one of those people who has gone along, like me, saying, well, yeah, I think that Jesus was an incredible man. How can you not think that? The guy did, he did miracles. He forgave people who were his enemies. He actually said the most incredibly wise things. You have to admire him. Whether you believe that the story is one of deliverance for the entire human race is another thing. This book is a long way towards making me believe that that is the case. So maybe if you're in for some, I don't know, some objective reporting on all of these things. In fact, I think what happens in the end is that Lee Strobel, and I haven't actually got to that part yet, I'm only halfway through, but I believe that Lee Strobel actually did end up with all of his incredible interviews that he did with these great scholars. He was very privileged to be able to do this, and he came out, I believe, thinking that all of it is absolutely true, and that Jesus is exactly what everybody has been saying about him. That's quite a revelation for anybody. I'm well along the way myself. So, This is a foreigner living in the Philippines. Bye for now.